Hey everybody, welcome back. Somebody's getting fired after this.
You are fired.
Get ready with me while I tell you about my psycho coworker that got fired for the most insane lie. So, I work in a coffee shop. This new girl gets hired. I'm gonna call her a name I don't particularly like. Meg. Like Meg from Family Guy. And on her first shift, tells my assistant manager, my mum's being told she's gonna die tonight. My manager is like, oh, well, I mean, you obviously take off, do what you need to do, you go. Meg decides to stick around for another hour, which was weird. If I got that news, it's like, come on, we're going. And because this was a Thursday, and they text her on the Friday, it's like, hey, you don't even have to answer this text, but just wondering if you have an indication of when you might be back. And she's like, I'll be back Monday. So
wait.
They're like, oh, that's quick.
Yeah, no kidding.
And if you live in Ireland, you know that death is a big thing in Ireland. Wakes, which take 2-3 days, funeral, and there's just a lot of traditions and a lot of formalities. It comes back on Monday. It's kind of awkward, I'm not gonna lie, because no one really knows what to say to her because no one knows her. And I've actually lost a parent, so I was like, oh, here, I've heard what's went wrong and I'm so sorry. Went through the same thing. And she's like, it's awful, but we got 2 more years than we were supposed to with her. She was diagnosed 2 years ago and we didn't think we'd get this long with her. She said she died of cancer. Cancer had spread from somewhere to her spleen. And I was like, oh my God, that's so awful. I'm so sorry. And she was just like, what can you do?
Wait.
Yeah, what can you do? It's fine.
Okay, is this going where I think it's going? Awfully chipper for someone who just lost their mom.
And I was like, oh, okay. A strange reaction. It was like he had lost a £10 note or something, not her mother. Anytime I try talk to her, she just gives me one-word answers and leaves the room. So this is when it starts getting weird. Posts on Facebook, happy birthday, mom. And all the comments were just like, happy birthday. It wasn't like, oh, Meg, we're so sorry for your loss. Maybe she just hasn't told anyone. Maybe no one knows yet. Completely forgot I was supposed to be getting dressed. Meg's mum is commenting on her Facebook.
What?
Like she's alive. And a few members of staff start to notice this, including me. And so we discuss among ourselves. We're kind of just like, oh no, maybe her Facebook is being used by someone else. Meg said her mum had a business, so maybe someone's running her page. So we're kind of just like, okay, strange, but whatever. She's very fucking active, by the way. It's not 2 posts a week. It's 4 posts a day. She is not off her Facebook. She's a Facebook mum.
Okay, so how dumb do you have to be? How are you not embarrassed? How? Okay, you lie about something like that just so you can get the night off, and then your mom's still posting all these things on Facebook where people follow her? People from your work? Yeah, you're getting fired for sure. I also like how we're calling her a Facebook mom.
And so I decided to do some of my own research, t-shirt, start looking on Meg's Facebook. Look through her aunties and her other family members. And her auntie particularly were posting everything and anything. And there's nothing about her sister being dead. Nothing. And this posting about dogs fucking, the local cat that got stuck in the tree. She would be posting about her dead family member, obviously. Nothing.
Obviously.
There's something up here. Go into funeral notices for the area that her mum lived. Nothing. Oh, Meg's mum dead in Ireland. No. I come back into work and I'm like, okay, listen, I found out something really weird. And I tell management and they're like, we know this. We literally just found out as well. There must be an explanation. There has to be, because this is psychotic. And so head office calls her and basically says, in a roundabout way, we've seen suspicious activity on the Facebook. We need a death certificate just so we can give you your bereavement pay. She says, oh, someone is using her Facebook. I'll bring it in tomorrow. Guess who doesn't show up for her shift tomorrow?
Oh, buddy.
Meg, because her mum is still alive. She lied about her mum's death.
Buddy.
To get some time off work. To get a weekend off work. And she said she was at her mum's funeral. She said to me, her brother is being housed by their cousins because she doesn't have a good relationship with her dad, and her mum's dead now and she needs to make money. She needs this job to make money. But wait, the story just gets even crazier, okay?
More crazy?
I work as a musician on the weekends. I go into this pub where I play sometimes, and who is working behind the bar?
Meg!
Little Miss Psycho Meg is behind the bar. Completely ignores me the whole night, obviously, because I know she's lied about her mum's death. I get talking to the managers. Yeah, I was talking to them after I play a gig, and I'm like, have you just hired that girl Meg? And she said, yeah. And I said, she just got fired from our workplace because she was lying about her mum dying of cancer.
Oh my
and
gosh.
the manager says, oh, she said her mum died of a heart attack last week.
Stop! What?
Of a heart attack and cancer. Oh my god. So Meg's mum has died twice in the space of like 3 weeks. Lying about her mum being dead to get time off work. To each workplace, she's a different story. Yeah, that's the story. And that's why she got fired. And hopefully she got fired from the new place, but who knows?
Okay, wow. This is the thing. If you want time off work, you don't say that somebody died. If that is the excuse you choose to go with, pick like a dog or a cat or something. Because this is cray-cray. You're gonna be able to validate this. Why wouldn't you just call in sick? Like, why do you have to lie about somebody dying? Why wouldn't she just say granny or something? I've been saying this, or an uncle or something. Oh yes, sorry, my uncle died. Even that is just, I don't know. I don't want to put that out into the universe. You know what I mean? I firmly believe that whatever you speak, whatever you write, very powerful. Don't be putting those things out in the universe, because then when it does happen, people are going to be like, I'm sorry, how many aunts and uncles and grandmas and moms and dads do you have? I thought they were all dead. Hi, Meg's mom here. I'll have you know it's hard work being reincarnated, dying over and over. You can be nice to my daughter. Wow, sorry, Meg's mom. That didn't even cross my mind. I didn't even understand the possibility of being reincarnated over and over again. Thank you.
I've been fired 3 times from 3 different companies, and they were all my fault. In my defense, we have to factor 2 things. 1, my age of whenever I worked there, and 2, the fact that my parents never let me work as a teenager because they wanted me to enjoy my youth for as long as I can, since I'd be working for the rest of my life anyway. I got my first job at this trendy retail store just a little bit after high school, so it was first year uni, and it was like the cool place to work because it was paying more than minimum wage. So minimum wage at the time was $9, and this place was paying $13. So everyone my age worked there or wanted to work there, and since this was first year uni, all I cared about was partying and getting never worked a day in my life before this, so I had no concept of professionalism at all. So I would either show up late, not show up at all, or show up and like I would just never even call in. I was taking vacations and giving myself time off whenever I felt like it, and I never even got anyone to cover my shift. Since a lot of my friends worked there, I was always hanging out with them and taking really long lunch breaks or just long breaks in general, and even giving myself more breaks than I was allowed. I would take stuff from my friend's department so I could return it to them later, so it gives me an excuse to be at their department and hang out with them. This was all caught on security cameras too, including us taking shots in the change rooms. I had no customer service skills and always avoided talking to customers because I never knew what to say to them, and I hated my department because they put me in the men's underwear department. So I always had creepy guys hitting on me and guys giving me used underwear to return.
Ew.
So I've been working at this place for 2 months. The fan on New Year's Eve because my friend and I showed up to work hungover, so we were both puking in the bathroom, and it just smelled like vodka, and HR happened to be there. So then a couple days later, my friends were visiting me and asking me if I wanted to hang out after work, and I was like, sure. I got off at 9, and they're like, okay, we'll just walk around the mall for a bit, and then we'll just come grab you when you're done. And then my manager came up to me and was like, hey, HR wants to talk to you, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll see you guys later. So I went to go talk to HR. Then HR just had like a long list of demeanors of stuff that I've done that I never even like included in this video, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. It was so quick, and they pretty much told me they never wanted to see me again, so I ran out, and my friends hadn't even left the store, and I was like, hey you guys, turns out I can hang out sooner than later. My friends were like, oh, did you mix up your shift? And I was like, no, I just got fired. Low-key, it was kind of traumatizing because I felt blindsided for some reason, so I didn't work for a couple of years until I got my accounting diploma, and when I did, I worked 2 accounting roles in 1 year, so for 2 different companies, and I got fired from both of them in the same year.
It's always funny when you get fired and it's totally your fault, and you're like,
How could they? I don't get it. How could they do this?
I'm surprised you didn't get fired sooner, babes. Like, if that was a trendy place to work and there was all these people that wanted to work there, you should have been fired from the first indiscretion. 1 warning and then you're fired. I understand that you were young and you didn't understand any concept of like professionalism, but like, how did you not know that like showing up late and doing all those things is not professional? Girl, how did you not know this stuff is literally common sense? That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you not know?
Oh, I didn't know. I'm so young.
I'm sorry, what? Have you never gotten in trouble for being late? I don't think you can blame this on your parents not letting you work in high school. My first job at 16, I knew none of that was okay. Yeah, my first job, I was like 14, and like, I'll be d***ed if I showed up late. Like, hell no. Oh, we've got a part 2.
Part 2, and the last part of how I got fired 3 times from 3 different companies and how they were all my fault. After I got my accounting diploma, I worked 2 back-to-back accounting roles for 2 different companies, and I got fired from both of them within the same year. My first accounting role, I got in so much for being on my phone all the time because the role was just so boring. The company culture also sucked because there were so many snitches. Like literally random people would walk by my desk and tell management anytime I was on my phone. Obviously after my first warning, I didn't go on my phone as much and people would still snitch on me if I was doing something as little as like changing the song or like changing the podcast that I was listening to. It got so bad that management physically moved my desk to be in front of her desk so she could watch and make sure that I wasn't on my phone. She would have rather that I just click around the screen on my computer if I ran out of work and after I reviewed everything already. They were also so cliquey. Like I hated going to lunch and it was like such a high school vibe because like management would literally be like that group of girls that would like whisper among each other and like point and like laugh. Anyway, that made me realize I didn't like being micromanaged, so I didn't really care about getting fired from there. Plus they were barely paying me anything. In the next accounting role, this girl that was like the all-star employee just had it out for me. A recruiter got me that job and I didn't have any problems. He only said that it was 8-hour days and I could start anytime between 6 and 9. I was like, okay, cool, and I did my job, and then halfway into my contract on Black Friday, my recruiter visited me to let me know that he talked to HR and HR thinks that I'm doing a really good job. He was like, keep up the good work, reward yourself with some good Friday shopping today, and I did. In the middle of me shopping, like I was at checkout, the HR of that company called me and was like, yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. He was mad about it too. Like he was like, don't bother coming in to get your stuff, we'll get it mailed to you. And I was like, what happened? And apparently the all-star employee was talking mad about me, saying that I was coming in whenever I felt like it and that I thought I was too good for everyone because I didn't like to interact with people. No, it was just her. I didn't like interacting with her because she was always such a to me. She didn't know the terms of my contract regarding the hours, so she made it sound like I was literally just coming and going whenever I felt like it. Anyway, I didn't want to fight it because I didn't like that company either, and I just hate doing accounting. And this was the actual getting fired moment that actually messed me up because I was completely blindsided. Anyway, I'm not like that anymore, and I actually straightened up and I started working an accounting role again for this really big bank, and they actually had like insane training. I like the training, but I hate accounting, so it was actually me that made the decision to leave this time. Now I've been at my job at this investment firm for the last like 3 years now, but moral of the story is, if you're an adult like me that had to learn responsibility at a later age, don't be ashamed of it. It comes eventually.
Kind of just sounds like you really hated those jobs and didn't want to be there at all. I always say that if you get fired, it just wasn't meant for you, or you were late all the time. To be fair, I do feel like this second story wasn't necessarily her fault as much. It just sounded kind of like a toxic workplace. Lord knows I know toxic workplaces that are very cliquey like that. But that was actually like a good way to end the video. A very good message. Honestly, I think this girl's just like super, super likable and everybody just gives her work. I find her likable.
Tell me about a time that you got fired from your job for an actual good reason.
I legally worked at a Jamba Juice for about 35 minutes, and I'll tell you how I got fired. Come here. It was my first day at work, and I was training, right? I didn't have too much knowledge yet. The person who was supposed to be training me left for a little bit, so it was just me alone in the store, right? A customer walked in, and he tried to order something off the secret menu. Come here. I didn't know we had a secret menu, so I said, yeah, we don't have that drink, man. And he goes, yes, you do. And I said, look, buddy, we don't have that drink, so either order something else or you have to leave. Then he goes, oh, really? Where's your manager? I reactively went, I'm the manager. Then he goes, are you willing to bet your job on that? Come here. I said, I'm willing to bet my whole paycheck, buddy. He shakes my hand and goes, nice to meet you. I'm the district manager.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, this was supposed to be a joke, but you can go ahead and leave now. I'm like, oh, can I at least make a drink first? He did not let me make the drink.
I wouldn't let you make the drink either, babes. Why did you say I'm the manager? It would have made sense if you were the manager, but you're not. That's not a good reason to get fired. You shouldn't have been left alone on your first day, and that was intensely unprofessional behavior by the district manager. Okay, yes, he shouldn't have been left alone on his first day, but he also shouldn't have been impersonating the manager. He was good. He was good. Honestly, first hour working at a place, fine. But he said that he was the manager when he wasn't. I once worked at a tanning salon when I was like 15 years old, and I just really, really hated this new manager that came in. I hated her so much. She sucked so much. And then one day I just like didn't want to show up to work. And then I got fired. And I was so upset about it. I was just like, oh, I was crying so much. But at the end of the day, girl, it's a tanning salon. I think you'll survive. You were getting a little orange anyway. Orange face, orange hair. Wasn't meant for me.
This is how I got fired from my first job. Anyone remember Kiss the Berry? It was like an acai place. My friend's cousin owned it, and so she got me a job there. I was only 14, so I'd never had a job before, and I was excited and nervous, like hella nervous. And then for my first shift, it was only like 3 hours, so all was well. I loved their acai bowl. Didn't give me very many shifts. I obviously like had school because I was 14. Really easy to get there after school, and I was like, yo, like I can come after school. And they were like, okay, like la 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 la. They only gave me 2 a week, not even like sometimes it'd be 1 a week. Like I knew how to make the acais pretty confidently, but I didn't really know how to do the till because I just didn't work there enough to get an understanding of what's going on. I just remember like not being well trained in all the areas. Worked with a lot of uni students, so I had nothing to talk to them about because I was really young. I didn't make much talk with them. Kind of focus on learning what to do. I remember one day I got a break. I never got breaks because I never worked enough to get a break. They were like, okay, you can just sit down on your break. To another employee, can you go take the bins out? And I even was like, I know I'm on break, but can I come with you to see where the bins are? Because I don't even know how to do a bin run. I don't know where the bins are. I want to be good. So on my break, when I didn't even get paid, I was like, let's learn. And I'm sitting on the couch one night before school. I think it was like a Sunday night. And I get a phone call from the boss. I was like, hey, what's up? I was like, hey, so I've heard from some other people that you're refusing to do jobs and you're talking back to people. And I was like, and then he was like, yeah, so you are like, you don't work for us anymore. Bye. And I was like, ugh. And it hung up and I sobbed. I cried. I don't refuse to do jobs. If anything, I like want more work. Like to mum, I was like freaking out. And she goes, give me the phone. And then she grabs the phone, calls him back and is like, how could you like, it wasn't this dramatic, but it's something along the lines of like, you can't fire someone without any cause. Like when were these instances? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I'm in Bali. I've just come back from Bali. It's like, so you can't give us specific instances when it actually happened. This is just everyone talking. He's like, yeah. Like, you didn't even give her a warning. Fired her over the phone. You couldn't even give her the courtesy of her coming in and telling her just not to do it. And, you know, I just want to make acais, you know. And then the company went bust, went out of business, not even during COVID, just kind of like because the business wasn't doing well. I became a supervisor at my next job. So, Mama, come and get you, girl. Sorry, kiss the berry. You can kiss.
Oh, period queen. You know, come to think of it, most of the stores that I worked at that treated me really badly, quit, fired, etc., most of them are no longer in business. Except Aritzia. Ugh. I'm still so traumatized from working at Aritzia that I fold clothes so that the employees don't have to fold them. Line them up, babes, line them up on the table. I will physically hang up the clothes again in the change room because I feel so bad for these employees.
Get ready with me to get fired from my job that I literally just started. Since the age of 15, I've had several jobs and I've never been fired, so I find this funny. Yesterday, at the end of my shift, my manager was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're giving me so much anxiety. And then she pulls me far away from all of my coworkers, and I was like, okay, now you're really giving me anxiety. Am I getting fired? Like, I was laughing because I was like, there's no way. She pulled me aside to tell me that my face looked so miserable at work that she didn't think I was a good fit for the job. I didn't know what to say. I was just like, what? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not miserable. Like, I have nothing against this job. I told her I knew I had a resting face, but I didn't realize I looked that awful at work. I subconsciously have to remember to raise my eyebrows and make my face look pleasant and welcoming.
Oh my gosh.
If not, I look like the meanest human being alive, and I look like I have a raging attitude, when in actuality, my face is just chillin'. For example, this is what I look like. Miserable, awful. Anyway, I guess we'll see if I get fired today for having a ugly face at work. It was just a minimum wage job, waiter job. I honestly don't really care if they fire me, like, it's not a big deal.
Imagine getting fired for your face. Sorry, babes. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to let you go. Your face. It's not working for us. What the fuck? I don't think that they can actually fire you for that. I think that that's like cause for a lawsuit. Why did you leave your last job? They didn't like my face. Isn't this the equivalent of like, why don't you smile more? Why don't you smile more? You're not pleasant. Like, I feel like this is like low-key misogynistic. I'm not gonna lie. You're not even saying anything wrong. You're literally just standing there with a face. Tell me the times that you got fired down below in the comments. Subscribe!